India-China relations, a bilateral reset. India and China, both of these countries are ancient civilizations. Both of these countries, they are neighbors. We've had a shared history. We've had conflict in 1962 with each other. And after that, we've had multiple, I would say, tensions along the border with each other. These tensions are primarily due to the expansionist tendencies of China. They want to expand territorially. Mao Zedong rolled out China's five-finger policy. Five-finger policy, five fingers. Out of these five fingers, three are in India. Arunachal Pradesh, Sikkim, Ladakh, and the other two are Nepal and Bhutan. The palm is Tibet. So this five-finger policy of Mao Zedong simply signifies that China wants to take control over these five territories because it believes that at one point of time, these territories were part of the Chinese civilization. So they keep on, expressing their expansionist tendencies in these regions. Obviously, three of them are intrinsic part of India, two of them are separate countries. These two are buffer countries, Nepal and Bhutan. Because of these expansionist tendencies expressed in Arunachal Pradesh or Ladakh region, there have been tensions. The latest tensions being in 2020, Galwan Valley, where the Chinese intended to shift the LAC inside India, means take more area under its control. Since then, China and India ties are at an all-time low. However, multiple rounds of talks have happened and the issue has been largely resolved. In 2024, the patrolling agreement was signed, and with the signing of that agreement, we can say the issue has been largely resolved. Government of India claims that there has been complete withdrawal of the Chinese establishments over there. Chinese claim that we have partially withdrawn. But yes, we as aspirants will definitely adhere to our government's stand. Now, in the last few years, since Galwan Valley clashes, a lot of things have happened. Number one, India's geopolitical stature has increased a lot. India has helped more than 100 countries with vaccine in the post-COVID era. India has become the voice of the global south. India is one among those very few countries who are interacting with the West as well as interacting with Russia. And we are having conflicts with China all along these years. The Galwan Valley conflict continued. Now with the advent of the Donald Trump administration in USA, there have been multiple challenges coming towards India. We know the challenges, tariffs and trade wars going on, additional tariffs due to import of oil from Russia. Now, this has created a distance between India and USA, and it has reduced the distance between India and China. So many geopolitical experts in USA, they were commenting that these tensions between India and USA will bring Russia, India, China closer to each other, and this is what is happening. Now with this visit of the Chinese Foreign Minister, closeness, or I would say strengthening ties, were at display. I'm not saying that challenges are completely over between India and China. They can never be completely over. But yes, as per the talks, or as per the optics we can see, we can clearly come to this conclusion that India and China have started to brush aside their differences and started to strengthen their mutual cooperation with each other. This is what has started to happen. Now, August 18 and 19, Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi visited New Delhi. He met our External Affairs Minister. He's their Foreign Minister, External Affairs Minister. He met his counterpart, Mr. Jaishankar, over there. Then he met NSA Ajit Doval, and then after that he met the Prime Minister as well. Now, this discussion focused on de-escalation at the line of actual control. Line of actual control is the boundary between India and China. Improving bilateral ties and trade with each other. China had imposed certain export bans on the rare earth magnets to India. So, all those have been removed now with the foreign minister's visit over here. This marks the first high-level visit since October 2024 meeting. President Xi Jinping in Kazan and PM Modi met with each other. This is during the BRICS summit, Kazan, Russia. And this BRICS summit bilateral meeting between PM Modi and President Xi was just after the signing of the patrolling agreement of 2024 between India and China. The visit aimed to push forward the stalled de-escalation process along line of actual control. De-escalation started, but de-escalation stalled. Now it has to again restart because completely de-escalation has to happen. Preparations are also underway for PM Modi's upcoming visit to China for the SCO summit in Tianjin, that is August 31 to September 1, 2025. Now, if you see this map, so here we have this Galwan Valley. This is actually Galwan Valley. This is Galwan Valley where these clashes happen. And the main reason behind the clash was that, a road was being built, Darbuk to Daulat Beg Oldi. Darbuk is over here and Daulat Beg Oldi is over here. Chinese wanted clear access of this road, and that is why they shifted the LAC inside. And here is Galwan Valley where the clashes happened. They wanted direct access so that they could attack this road whenever needed or if needed. So, this was the reason of the conflict. And there was, presence of Chinese here in the Depsang plains and here, Demchok region. This is where currently presence of Chinese is considered to be. However, Government of India is not expressing it clearly, but yes, this is widely known that this is the scenario. India-China border standoff 2022 present. April-May 2020, PLA incursions. PLA is basically People's Liberation Army, the army of China. In Eastern Ladakh, it began. June 15, 2020, Galwan Valley clashes happened. 20 Indian soldiers martyred. Significant loss on Chinese side too, but the figure is undisclosed. Led to worst diplomatic and military crisis since the 1962 war between India and China. Multiple rounds of diplomatic, military and special representative talks have occurred since, but full disengagement remains incomplete. India is demanding full disengagement. Now, key developments from August 2025 meeting. So, statements issued by our External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar said that India and China have seen a difficult period, but now seek to move ahead. He called for a candid and constructive approach, guided by three mutuals. First is mutual respect, second is mutual sensitivity, and third is mutual interest. Because these three, I would say, domains are actually mutual. If you give respect, you get respect. If you are sensitive about Indian concerns, Indians are sensitive about Chinese concerns. And if you are sensitive about our interests, we are sensitive about your interests. He reiterated that differences must not become disputes and competition must not become conflict. So, this is very, very, I would say, balanced, and we have communicated it in a very clear way to the Chinese. He emphasized on border peace. He said that peace and tranquility at border is the basis for any positive momentum. And he acknowledged that borders have been peaceful. He asserted that de-escalation process at LAC must move forward. He urged joint responsibility in maintaining border stability. Joint responsibility means joint responsibility of India and China both. Follow up on prior issues raised, Jaishankar brought up particular concerns from his July 2025 Beijing visit. He visited last month to China. Before that, China had already imposed export bans for rare earth magnets. And there he expressed concerns with respect to restrictive trade practices by China, export curbs on rare earth elements and fertilizers. Rare earths are vital for EVs, electronics, defense and semiconductors. China controls over 85% of global rare earth processing and around 60 to 70% of rare earth, I would say, mining. Now, rebuilding bilateral ties, what all was discussed. Kailash Mansarovar Yatra, it resumed after 5 years. It was suspended since 2020. 2020 Galwan Valley clashes happened. Let's not forget that. Tourist visa, India resumed visa issuance for Chinese nationals. Direct flights, advanced stage talks to restart flights suspended since 2020. So direct flights have to start. River data sharing, resumption under discussion. China has to share river data because China is an upper riparian state. Border trade and connectivity, talks are underway for this. Pilgrimages and people-to-people contacts emphasized as key trust building measures, both of these. Broader geopolitical dialogue. India reaffirmed its commitment to a fair, balanced and multipolar world. A multipolar Asia. Reformed multilateralism in global institutions. He emphasized stability in global economy and fighting all forms of terrorism. So, all these things there. China's position, Wang Yi's position, what did he say? He said that China-India relations have gained shared confidence. Shared confidence means China has also got some confidence with respect to India and India has also got some confidence with respect to China. China might have thought that, India would not be so retaliatory or retaliative to such kind of expansionist tendencies of China in 2020, but India retaliated pretty well. India stood firm. And now Chinese have come to acknowledge this fact that India is not going to bow down. He highlighted efforts to dispel interference, desire to expand cooperation and consolidate momentum. He asserted that India and China can provide the most needed certainty and stability to Asia and the world. India is the fastest growing economy of the world. China is the second largest economy of the world. Also, economic growth rate is decent. India, as per many estimates, happened to be the world's most populous country, followed by China. So, definitely, these two big countries can definitely play a major role to shape Asia as well as the world. He blamed rampant unilateralism and disruption of free trade, indirectly referencing US, particularly under the Trump administration. Unilateralism means one-sided, you are taking a decision. The US has taken this decision to impose tariffs on India and additional tariffs of 25% because India is importing Russian oil. Well, China is importing Russian oil more than India. Europe is importing Russian gas more than India. And India is importing American oil also, and we have increased importing American oil in the recent past. But, these things unilaterally, or these decisions unilaterally taken, he did not take names. Wang Yi did not take name of USA. But it is quite commonsensical that he was referencing to USA. He called for both countries to promote dignity for developing nations. Global South unity. Global South is a socio-economic term where the developing and underdeveloped countries of the world are there. China is also part of Global South. China is not a developed country. Asia, Africa, plus this is the Global South. And Global South definitely is rising definitely can pose a challenge to the developed West, and this is what the developed West is concerned about, because Donald Trump has mentioned BRICS many a times, and BRICS is a multilateral organization of the global south. If you see Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, all developing countries of Asia, Africa or South America. Then he expressed, or he called for dialogue over confrontation. Dialogue should be there, confrontation should not be there. And also China has made an in-principle commitment to address India's requirements for rare earth elements. Means China will be supplying us rare earth elements, fertilizers and tunnel boring machines. So for these three, China has agreed to that it will be supplying to India, which it stopped. What are rare earth elements? Rare earth elements, group of 17 metals or elements in the periodic table. Why they are called as rare? They are not called rare. They are not, very rarely present. They are present in abundance. But why rare? Because their concentration in their ores is less. And the importance of these rare earth elements in the present day world, that is the digital world, is immense. They are used in, electronics. They are used for making semiconductor chips. Semiconductor chips has wide ranging usage. Electronics, automobiles, defense equipment, multiple places semiconductor chips are being used. Mobile phones. So electronics, green energy, wind turbines, EVs, etc. Defense, missiles and radars, medical tech, telecommunications. So these are the wide ranging usage of semiconductors. And there is China's dominance in global REE market. It accounts for 60 to 70% of REE mining. It controls critical stages of processing and value addition. It is used as a strategic tool in geopolitical negotiations. So this is also, you have to keep in mind that this is there. India's REE status. India imports REEs worth $33 million annually as per SBI report. 30 minerals have been identified as critical to India's economic security, and they are called as critical minerals. And out of these 30, these rare earth elements are there. Challenges in imports from China. No outright ban, but stringent export control and licensing. Means the quantity was reduced. Supply chain disruptions for Indian sectors like transport equipment, basic metals, electrical and electronics, construction, machinery. These products, since they were not available, though the supply chain or the manufacturing of all these products was impacted because rare earth elements are used for these industries. Now the geopolitical context, we've been discussing a bit about it, that is the USA angle involved over here. So India-US trade tensions which are going on under President Trump 2.0. It has imposed 50% tariffs on Indian goods, that is 25% plus 25% additional tariffs. Penalized India for importing Russian oil, 25% tariff for this. In contrast, China imports more Russian oil but faces no such sanctions. US-China deal. Trump announced rare earth cooperation with China. Full supply of rare earths and magnets. Visa access for Chinese students to US institutions. It raises questions about US reliability as a trade partner for India. So these things are there. China's messaging urges India to counter unilateral bullying. Hint at, obviously US, it did not take names, but it is quite understandable. Advocates for multipolarity and South-South cooperation. Signals interest in resetting bilateral ties with India via economic cooperation. So this is what it meant. Now he also met the National Security Advisor, Mr. Ajit Doval. and it was the 24th round of talks between NSA Ajit Doval and Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi. Both are considered to be special representatives representing their respective countries. Agenda of the meeting was border delimitation and demarcation properly should be done. Military disengagement. Confidence building measures means people to people ties should increase at the military level. Cross border exchange frameworks. This mechanism between the special representatives is the highest institutional format for addressing India-China boundary issue. Strategic and diplomatic significance. Border security, full disengagement remains pending in sectors like Dapsang and Namchok. That is what I highlighted, and that has to be done. Bilateral trust, dialogue is key to rebuilding mutual confidence. Trade, China's trade restrictions on rare earth impacts India's tech and EV sectors. Those have been lifted. Multilateral engagement prepares for India-China engagement at SCO, which is coming up. Next week I will be covering this. BRICS and G20. Geopolitics, balancing China's assertiveness with India's strategic autonomy. This is the significance of this particular meeting. So, in a nutshell, I can say that the challenges between India and China are not over, but they have reduced. They have started moving with each other. Let's see how far they move with each other. A lot will depend upon America's policies. A lot will depend upon the China-Pakistan nexus. Because Wang Yi did not only travel to India. From here, he went to Pakistan as well. And he was warming up with the Pakistani leadership also. So, this is very clear that China is not going to leave Pakistan. But it is interesting to note that Pakistan is also warming up with USA. What is this going to lead? This equation becomes interesting. Pakistan with USA, Pakistan's over-reliance on China. What will happen to Pakistan? And, we as India should be looking to fulfill its national interest with our levels of engagement with USA, with our levels of engagement with China, and we should try to establish stable and peaceful ties with China because China is our neighbor. So, this is what is needed to be understood.